Hey there, and welcome to another edition of Story Demon. I am David C. Hope. Today we're going to talk about sidekicks. First off, what is a sidekick? Sidekicks are that companion to the hero, the person ideas get bounced off of, the thing that accompanies a hero on a quest. Take on many shapes and forms. We'll talk about that. They are essential and they can make or break your story. Movies, books, all the same. They can make or break you. So even video games. Examples of sidekicks. 3PO and R2D2 are classic examples of sidekicks. Star Wars movies. Short Round, Temple of Doom. Even on a smaller scale, Silence of the Lambs, Jodie Foster, Claire Starling had that friend from the Academy. She's an example of like Agent Map or something like that. She's an example of a sidekick. Less screen time in that movie, but still a sidekick and still plays a really important part, a really important role in the show. And to a more extreme example of a sidekick is Wilson in the movie Castaway, and I'll talk about why he's important. So sidekicks have an essential role to play. Often sidekicks, sometimes the protagonist does this, but often sidekicks are what introduces you to a world. There's your window in, okay? So whether they know everything or they don't ever know everything, it doesn't matter. The fact that they know everything or don't is how you get an in. So the fact that they know everything, your protagonist typically won't. And so the protagonist is trying to figure what's going on in this universe, and the sidekick will inform them of things happening that they wouldn't know. And that gives the audience an in, because otherwise, if you just have a hero without any kind of a reinforcement, it could still be good. It's not that those can't be good, but there's a layer that will be missing. Sherlock had, Watson for a reason. My girlfriend, all these things, there's always that other person with them for a reason. Igor with Dr. Frankenstein, you have that other thing for a reason. And that reason typically is as a window into what's going on or the universe, whether they know or don't know. And that provides the end. So, Castaway is to me a really, really great example of a sidekick. So once he's on the island and by himself, and after he's there figuring out a few of the basic, survival things, Wilson shows up, and now he's able to talk to somebody on screen time. And the end that Wilson provides is what's going on in Tom Hanks's character's head. Without Wilson, you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have anything to play off of to know what's going on in Tom Hanks's head. So if you were watching the movie without it, it would just be watching him doing survival tasks. You wouldn't know what he's thinking of. He might sigh or frown as he sees something, and that would give you an idea, but you wouldn't know. Even the fact that he tried to commit suicide and tested the method first, we know that through Wilson. That information comes through Wilson. So Wilson makes that movie. He's the glue that ties that movie together. Without him, you were lost without a big chunk. You would have no window into his head. R2D2 and 3PO, they know something, they don't know some things, and that knowing and not knowing is your window in. They know about the Empire, they know about the war, they know about the rebels, they know about the princess. They arrive on Tatooine, and then they don't know about Luke, and they don't know about the Force. And so as we go along, they are what's piecing the things together. They inform Luke of what's going on, and they get informed by characters that helps. We the audience are receiving this information. It's all through that one conduit. So the most important characters in Star Wars: New Hope are R2D2 and C3PO, because they're your conduit into that universe. Without them, you don't have that, and it's going to be really, really friggin' hard to convey all that stuff. You'll be lost as hell watching that. So your sidekick is crucial to, and whatever that be. Again, it can be volleyball. It can be two robots. It can be, a partner, classic cop movies, you have basically like Lethal Weapon, you basically have like two sidekicks in a sense. And since they don't know each other, since they're partnered up, they're like each other's sidekick. And because they don't know each other, we learn about each other because they're asking questions and they're figuring out things together as they go. And there's things that Murtaugh knows that Riggs doesn't. There's things that Riggs knows that he doesn't, and things that we know each other that he can convey to each other. And through that pairing, basically, of a partner movie, which they basically becomes then two sidekicks, then you learn. So that's basically what a partner movie is: two sidekicks that you're watching that become the main protagonist. So all these things are crucial. Even in comedy, this can be essential because that provides you still with information. So, like Cloris Leachman's character in Young Frankenstein, and then again Igor, you mentioned Frankenstein earlier. Even Igor are the sidekicks to Cloris Leachman was the sidekick to his departed relative, and Igor is his sidekick. And because we have those characters, we're getting information about what was, and then now what is, what's going on. So even in comedy, there's a payoff. Blade Runner 2049, his AI of the girl AI that he uses, she is a window into his soul. The drone he shoots up in the air sees things that he can't see, and it's in a sense a sidekick to feed information back to him. So this could come in all shapes and sizes. There could be more than one in a way. I mentioned the Silence of the Lambs thing. She's a real minor character. You almost kind of forget about her. She's a really important role because if you don't have her, who the hell is Jodie Foster going to talk to? Was Clarice going to talk to, other than Scott Glenn, her superior, or Hannibal? One of the villains. So she has nobody else into another part of her to see that. So with her friend from cadet school or whatever, now we have a window into herself, her personal self more, and what's going on in her mind when she's off the clock, if you will. So that's a really important character. So it's a window. Sidekicks are windows into information, into feelings, whatever. They're absolutely crucial. And they can take all kinds of shapes form. You can be really creative, and you can create different ways to do it. It doesn't have to be Sherlock with Watson. It doesn't have to be that. It has to be Batman and Robin. It can be all manner of things. Sometimes movies can have a sidekick. Star Wars is a great example. There's other movies that replicate it, where you start with your sidekick as a protagonist, and then you hand the story over to someone else that they take it from there. Star Wars is great. It starts with them, but the movies sort of hand it over to Luke. Again, an introduction. The Harry Potter stories. Your window into Harry Potter is, Ron Weasley and Hermione. So that they give you insight into where he is and who he is. They introduce both sides. That you're allowed to learn about him because they're to ask questions, and you learn about the world you're going into because they're to answer questions. So it's just, they're conduits. These sidekicks are conduits, and you have to have an in for your audience. Whether you're reading, whether you're watching, whether you're playing, you have to have an in to your audience. Okay, and movies that don't have that, and stories that don't have that, usually will suffer for it, and there'll be a lack of information that you wish you had. If you don't have a sidekick, don't force a character in there that doesn't belong. It doesn't have to be, again, a human or an alien. It can be a dog. It can be a volleyball. It can be a cat. Someone to play off of. Chris, these are just characters in a story. In fact, they're sidekicks. There's usually that one person that connects them of the character in the story. So it's yes, these are characters in that world informing him and stuff, and they could be anybody that comes and goes, but usually if you don't have a through one, you pick someone in that setting to be that person for them. Out of the dozens of people there's that one in. Okay, so this is way more nuanced than protagonist and way more nuanced than antagonist. But if you find it, it actually will make your story easier to construct once you have it. So I guess what I'm saying is it's harder to get there, but the payoff is great. So if you don't have an end for your audience, and you need to find one. And typically they can be found through the addition of a sidekick, an outside character that sees in, or someone that's already there that allows our protagonist to see in. Conduits. Sidekicks are conduits, and you need it.